Hi, welcome to my channel. I am Thomasin, PA2066. Today is 14th of October 2022. I'd like to do a topic on overhang. What exactly is overhang? Similar to overhang, there are also other terms that are quite confusing. They used in NAPIC figures, that is unsold, under construction unit, as well as the other term called unsold constructed unit. So let me begin. Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Thomasin, PA2066. Today is 14th of October 2022. So slide this 102 means that I have done 102 already video. What is overhang? So overhang here means property overhang, not the hangover like you have a drink last night, so you have a hangover. This is a property overhang, not hangover. So this is about, as we understand, a case where oversupply of property and property unsold. So there is a term that is used for property unsold is called property overhang. So there's a few other terms, as I said. Understanding these terms, like what is property overhang, what is unsold under construction unit, what is unsold not constructed unit. So all these are terms used in NAPIC figures where trying to analyze the property environment, the property industry, for the government to monitor what are the conditions that the market is facing. So let me begin. So definition by NAPIC. What is NAPIC? NAPIC is National Property Information Center. So this center is under the Ministry of Finance, and they collect figures for research and also for guiding the government on policy. So definition by NAPIC on overhang and unsold units, let us go through. So definition on overhang, which I got it from the Appendix 4, the Lampiran 4, page 73 of the NAPIC first half of 2022 report. Starting from January 2003, so all this date back to 2003, property overhang actually has been defined as residential property or commercial property or industrial units that have been completed and issued with the certificate of completion and compliance, and they call it CCC or a temporary certificate of fitness for occupation, but remain unsold. That means the developer actually completed the housing or the property as in building, industrial building or commercial building, but this unit which has been completed with the certificate is still not sold for 9 months here, unsold for more than 9 months. Then when is the time to start ticking? The time start ticking is on the time of launch. So the definition is the 9 months is from the time of launching this particular property, and the property is already issued a certificate of fitness or CCC or a temporary CCC. Let us go in, maybe see some scenario later, then you will understand what I mean. The other one is that in the same appendix, they actually wrote another sentence, how property overhang comprises of residential units, commercial units, and industrial types of units that are completed. Here means completed means given the certificate of completion and compliance, or temporary certificate of fitness for occupation. In the time that is given this unit already remain as unsold for more than 9 months from the date of launching. So I underline the date of launching is actually important. So we will see later the launching date. And the definition in value of overhang, how do they actually calculate the number of units, and also what is the total value that is overhang? It's actually, because it's not sold, how do you know how much it is? So it's actually depending on the average pricing by the developer. So the value of overhang property is derived from the average selling price for the particular type of property offered for sale. So which means that it's not transacted. So how do you know the value? Okay, it is the value that is in the price list of the developer, an average amount taken and times the number of units. Of course, if it looks like it is different sizes, different units facing different level, then for a condominium, then you will know that, well, it can range a difference of even a few 100,000, like from the highest to the lowest level. Then the same unit with the same layout may even have a difference of 80 to 90,000. So therefore, you take an average times the number of units unsold in that project, and that is the value that is given in the NAPIC analysis. Okay, let us continue. So this is the three scenario that I wanted to go through. So all these scenario that help us to understand what is overhang. So understanding the property overhang. Let us choose the first one. Understanding the property overhang scenario 1. Launch before construction starts. So this one is launched before construction starts. So if you have launched a project and not yet have construction activity, it remain unsold, even it is constructed, and given the CCC, the time of how to calculate it is from the time of launch. So here in this diagram, it comes from the far left, from the launching date to the time is issued the CCC, and in the case here, it usually is a few years, because if it is a big project, most likely close to 2 years, because the time of getting the plans up until the times of getting the paper approved for the project to consider approved for sale, it probably already a year plus, and then the construction may be just to a certain floor numbers, and some of these projects can be strata title projects where you are constructing but you are not able to sell certain types of angle or certain types of floor number. So it ends up that this project may have constructed many months, like even a few years, two years, and you already launched it for 2 years, but then the CCC for some of the units are about to be issued. So when you issue your CCC, you have completed the whole block, but then the completion would probably left 30% unsold unit in the block. So these units are actually more than 3 years. All this marketing effort put in is not able to get it sold. So some of the blocks that are up, some of them taken key, but then probably 30 units, 20 units are left unsold because of the work or layout or facing or other reasons. So these are taken in as overhang. Second situation is the launch after the construction starts. So looks like it's quite interestingly, this is probably the most commonly seen. That means you got the paperwork done, you have done the initial approval for sales and marketing, then you start piling. So the moment that you are piling, you got your project going on, and your sales team eventually got the APDL advertising promotion of the project. So you got the marketing and sales approval to promote the project, and then you launch the project. So this is the most commonly seen scenario where start piling and start selling. So the launching date to completing the whole project, as I just now, probably is shorter. So if you need to comply with the Schedule G or Schedule H, in this case Schedule H of the HDA, it is 36 months. So therefore, by the time your CCC is issued, it's already more than 9 months. So it's definitely more than 9 months. So this is quite straightforward type of scenario. You probably have done to up to maybe 3rd floor and the 4th floor that start launching the project, because you wanted to get a unit at the ground floor or the 1st floor to use as a showroom. So this could be the scenario also. Under this scenario of construction going, only then you launch. Third is that the launch less than 9 months before CCC issued. So this is probably a very rare case. In the reason that this probably is a landed property where you have about maybe 60 to 80 houses on a landed property, and you started the construction for the certain phases, and then some of the phases you are actually launching it much later. So construction may continue over a certain period, like some of the houses is 24 months under the Schedule G, and therefore some of these units you have done the wall up and even up to a roof already, then only you start selling because you know that it's easy to sell. And the thing is that some may not be sold, and the time that you got your CCC issue, actually you only launch it for the last 5 to 6 months, half a year ago. So these are situations that you launch it, but then your timing of launch is very late, but then your construction about to finish, and eventually you got your issue CCC. However, the unit is not sold after the launching, which is here. It's a short period of time, probably more than 9 months a bit, immediately more or less 9 months a bit. Then this type of scenario not able to sell, therefore is classified as overhang. So I would say that this scenario are much less because if it is individual units which you actually go by little phase, not the over dense types of project, it should not be unsold in the case. So it may be under construction but not sold, but no CCC because it's not completed. But if it is completed with CCC and still unsold for the small scale landed project, probably it is very rare. Let us continue. We mentioned about unsold under construction units. So this, the definition given by NAPIC is unsold under construction property comprises of residential units, commercial units, and industrial units with building plan approved that are under constructed. That means they are under construction. These units remain unsold for more than 9 months from the date of launch. But here it doesn't mention about CCC. So it means that it is under construction but not yet completed and still unsold. So this is a huge amount because a lot of project that goes on construction but never complete because no money to continue. Cash flow is affected because a lot of time due to cash flow, there is no construction activity because cannot get workers to come in, no money to pay them, and no money to buy supplies to continue building. So the construction becomes temporarily stopped. So these types of problem you can see. Later I will show you the graph that the unsold under con units. Since unsold under con units is an indicator of bad management of cash flow. Right? We have another one called the unsold not constructed. Property comprises residential unit, commercial units, and industrial units with building plan approved that are not yet constructed. This unit remain unsold for more than 9 months from the date of launch after the 1st January. These are types that I would say is less indicative of a bad management. So this means that the construction company has started applying for approval, but then never start constructing. So the likelihood is that they foresee that there is a market condition that too risky to start constructing, so they are not selling as in pushing to sell, and yet they are on a watch and wait sentiment of maybe holding on to the next year or so, and therefore this maybe indicator of a very prudent way of looking at risk in taking ahead the market condition. So with the 3 definitions, you are now shown a few graphs. So this is what I am saying. Overhang, unsold, under con, not constructed. So if you look at the middle one, which is the blue, and then your darker blue, and then the lighter blue. Overhang is the lighter blue, and then the darker blue is the unsold undercon. So the unsold undercon is the one that says that it is a warning sign, because these are units that developer company has started construction, but then it is not able to get sold, and therefore probably they have also cash flow problem and not able to continue for a while. And this is alarmingly high in certain places. It's alarmingly high. Only in Penang that it is lower than the overhang. The rest it is higher than the overhang. Overhang are units that were constructed complete with the CCC, with the certification. So they are indeed less risk now, as in the case that things has been completed. So it's not abandoned like halfway. But the unsold and under construction is the one that worrisome. The other one is the service apartment overhang. You can see the service apartment overhang and unsold undercon and also unsold not constructed. So like KL, you have a lot of under construction but not sold. Selangor also under construction, not sold. But then interestingly, you have Johor that is fully constructed but then unsold. And the under construction not yet constructed is actually not as high as the overhang. So this scenario seems to show that the project has been over constructed, completed, but then not able to sell. So this could be due to, like in the case of Forest City, where they have a lot completed but then not able to clear to sell off, and that is probably cross-national issue. So on the part of Johor, you can see that I have highlighted with the box. Very high overhang, lower undercon, and even lower unsold not constructed. So this means that there is a lot of project completed but no buyer. So that relates to what I said just now. So property market Q1 2022 had a chart about the service apartment overhang. So service apartment are commercial land that is built for strata property like Soho, Sovo. So this you can see Johor has a lot 16,000 units. Two is Selangor, not Kuala Lumpur, 2,337, and then Kuala Lumpur is 4,459. And this chart, I just want to highlight to you that actually the overhang by price range actually short. Even the cheap houses like 300,000 and below is overhang by 2.5%. Of course, this is by value, but if you look at the 2.5% units is 614 units compared to some of the heavy ones like the 500,000 to 1 million category 64.4%. So it is not true that overhang only happen on the higher price range. Overhang can also happen on the lower price range, like even below 300,000, for the simple reason that some of the construction is really out of town, out of place, very far away. So therefore these constructions are not getting sold because massive amount, and plus also too far away. And mismatch in this way is probably mismatch in the geographical location. But the main part is actually the 500,000 to 1 million, which is on the higher side. Average income cannot afford to buy this group of houses. And the above 1 million overhang units is also because it's too expensive now, 7.75 billion. Right, reason for overhang, just to recollect ourselves. So of course the first one is mismatch of demand and supply in the geographical area. So if you start to think about it along that way, if you construct so many cheap houses far away, also there's probably not many people going to buy. And of course a lot of it is overhang in the town area where employment and urbanization, people are trying to cram into smaller houses, and these are getting more expensive lah, huh? So commercial land, which is even more valuable in town area, being constructed with the mixed development, like commercial arcade at the first and the ground floor, and then the upper floors are all service apartment. This service apartment, because of the land cost, which is expensive, are being sold at much higher than normal pricing. And these reasons that the piece of commercial land, you want to get back the investment that the land is expensive. You would want to build more units of service apartment so that you can sell and get back the money. And these are sometimes expensive units and not able to match the affordability of that area. So this is the main, I guess, the main reason of why overhang happens a lot in the service apartment subtype. So these service apartment subtypes in some areas, because of the commercial land value, which is expensive, are sold in a higher price, which the local cannot afford. There are also reasons like and unable to get loans because no pay slip. People are on self-employed, so there is no pay slip. Employment, on and off employment, doesn't have the good paymasters record. And a lot of time also people are having this watch and wait scenario where after all COVID has impacted us so much, and a lot of people are thinking about really now is the time to just rent a place. You have oversupply in a lot of places. Rentals are cheaper already, so in order to buy over the period, just rent a place rather than buying. In fact, I have done a video on rent or buy, whether to buy or to rent. And definitely, if you visit this video, you understand the rationale behind some people who are thinking about renting rather than buying a property. So my conclusion on the topic of what is overhang is that, the definition says is 9 months. A lot of time, all these units that are unsold, in fact, more than 9 months when they got their CCC or the temporary certificate of fitness. Completed constructions are maybe less risk, but although there are less risk to the buyer, that means the buyer who buys the already constructed the house, it should not be an issue that much. But this overhang also is extra, which it costs money for the developer to keep on hanging, unable to sell these extra units. Of course, the other one is the unsold under construction one, which is worrisome in a lot of scenario where projects are already growing and progress is going on, but then there are a lot of unsold units. One whole block of probably M units that are bigger size or odd sizes of odd facing that are unable to sell. And definitely unsold under construction units are concerns of the government. Unsold not constructed probably is the one that got approval but then pushed back, so delay back, so that they don't launch the property. So this is the part that maybe the caution or the prudent developer not going to commit. A lot of the strata units are facing this issue because you are constructing a whole block which is maybe up to even 20, 30 or 40 floors, and you have certain floors on the upper part that is sold. Let's say you have 20 floors, then you have started selling it, and after a few years of selling, actually you have sold 80% of the 20th floor, but the first floor and the second and the third floor are still a lot of units are unsold. So in this type of scenario, you cannot say I don't want to construct the first and the second floor and only construct the floor that I have sort of sold them. So you cannot construct a unit and complete a unit without completing all the units inside the block. So this is a scenario where some blocks probably the first few floors is probably unsold for many years until it is classified under overhang. Under overhang. So unsold under construction would definitely contribute to the numbers on overhang, because as the project is completed with CCC, you move on to the overhang category. Right, thank you very much for listening in. I am Thomasin PA2066. This is my mobile number on display. I have a few websites. My Real Property Online is a collection of my videos and my write-up and also some listings. EstateAgentExam.com is an online self-study platform for the estate agents examination by the Board of Valuer Appraiser, Estate Agents and Property Managers. ContractToYou.com, a website for ranking of property by comparative index, IPI. Findware.info is a website for community of agents to put geo-link businesses as an advertisement. And abacusrealestate.fund is a simple to start website for listing of properties. Thank you very much.